Hello there, and welcome to the BioTales Science channel. I'm so glad you found your way here tonight. Maybe you've had a long day. Maybe your mind has been busy with 1,000 thoughts. Or maybe you're simply the kind of person who likes drifting off to something deeper than silence. Either way, you're exactly where you need to be. There's nothing you have to do right now. No tasks waiting, no decisions to make. Just let your shoulders drop, your breathing slow, and your body settle into the surface beneath you as if gravity itself has grown softer, more forgiving. Tonight, we're not looking outward into the stars or across distant galaxies. Tonight, we're turning inward. We're exploring the hidden universe inside your own body. A place just as vast, just as mysterious, and far more intimate than anything in the cosmos. Because right now, as you rest, your body is performing miracles. Quiet, invisible, endless miracles. Over 100 of them. And you don't have to do a single thing. They happen without permission, without thought, without pause. So close your eyes if you'd like. Let your mind wander gently. And if sleep finds you before we finish, that's beautiful. That's exactly what tonight is for. Your heart beats around 100,000 times every single day. Right now, in the stillness of this moment, your heart is working. Not because you're asking it to, not because you're remembering to keep it going. It simply beats, a steady rhythm, a quiet drum in the center of your chest. Every day, without rest, it contracts and releases about 100,000 times. That's roughly 70 beats per minute if you're calm. More if you've been moving, fewer if you're drifting toward sleep. Over the course of your lifetime, your heart will beat more than 2.5 billion times. And in all that time, it never stops to wonder if it should continue. It simply does. Pulsing blood through over 60,000 miles of blood vessels, delivering oxygen, nutrients, and life to every corner of your body. Even now, as your breathing slows and your thoughts begin to soften, your heart keeps its rhythm, faithful, tireless, unnoticed, a miracle happening in the dark. Your body replaces about 300 billion cells every single day. Beneath your skin, in the marrow of your bones, in the lining of your stomach and the surface of your lungs, your body is constantly rebuilding itself. Old cells wear out, new ones take their place. Around 300 billion of them every day. That's more than the number of stars in some galaxies. Skin cells are replaced every few weeks. Red blood cells last about 4 months before they're recycled and remade. The lining of your intestines renews itself every few days, constantly refreshed, so you can digest, absorb, and nourish yourself without even thinking. You are not the same body you were a year ago. Most of your cells have been replaced, remade, renewed. You are a living river, flowing forward in time, always changing, always becoming. And all of this happens quietly, in the background, while you sleep, while you dream, while you simply exist. Your brain generates enough electricity to power a small light bulb. Inside your skull, roughly 86 billion neurons are firing right now. Each one sending electrical signals to others, forming networks, storing memories, processing sensations, and creating the experience of being you. Together, these neurons generate about 20 watts of electrical power, enough to light a dim bulb, enough to keep your thoughts moving, your emotions flowing, and your dreams alive when you close your eyes. Every thought you have is a cascade of electrical impulses. Every memory you recall is a pattern lighting up across your brain like constellations forming in the night. And even when you're not thinking, even when your mind feels still, your brain is working, monitoring your heartbeat, adjusting your breathing, keeping you balanced, keeping you alive. It never rests. Not really. But it knows how to drift, how to quiet itself just enough so you can sleep. You breathe about 20,000 times a day without thinking. Right now, your lungs are expanding and contracting, drawing in air, releasing it again. Around 12 to 20 breaths per minute, depending on how relaxed you are. Over the course of a day, that's roughly 20,000 breaths. Most of them happen without your awareness. You don't have to remind your diaphragm to pull downward or your ribs to expand outward. Your body knows. It has always known. With each breath, oxygen floods into your lungs and diffuses across thin membranes into your bloodstream, where it's carried to every cell in your body. And with each exhale, carbon dioxide, the waste of cellular work, is released into the air. Breath by breath, your body balances itself, feeds itself, cleanses itself, all without asking, all without waiting for permission. Just a gentle rhythm, in and out, rise and fall, like waves on a shore that never stops moving. Your stomach produces a new layer of mucus every 2 weeks to protect itself. Inside your stomach, powerful acids churn and break down the food you eat. Hydrochloric acid, strong enough to dissolve metal, works constantly to digest proteins and kill harmful bacteria. But your stomach doesn't digest itself. Why? Because it's lined with a thick layer of protective mucus. And that mucus is replaced entirely every 2 weeks. Your body knows that even its own defenses wear down, so it rebuilds them, quietly, continuously, layer by layer. Your stomach is both weapon and shield, destroyer and protector, constantly renewing itself so you can eat, absorb, and live without harm. It's a kind of alchemy, turning the outside world into energy, turning food into you. Your eyes blink around 15,000 to 20,000 times a day. You probably didn't notice the last time you blinked, or the time before that. It happens so automatically that it feels like nothing. But every blink is a small act of care. Each time your eyelids close, they spread a thin layer of moisture across the surface of your eyes, keeping them clean, keeping them safe from dust and debris. You blink about 15 to 20 times per minute when you're awake. That's roughly 15,000 to 20,000 times a day. And with each blink, tiny glands release oils and tears that protect your vision. Without blinking, your eyes would dry out in minutes. Your vision would blur. Your comfort would fade. But you don't have to think about it. Your body blinks for you. A quiet rhythm, a gentle maintenance. A miracle so small you've probably never thanked it. But it's there, every single day. Keeping the world clear. Your liver performs over 500 different functions to keep you alive. Tucked beneath your ribs on the right side of your body sits one of the most industrious organs you'll never see, your liver. It's large, dark red, and astonishingly busy. At any given moment, it's performing more than 500 different biochemical tasks. It filters your blood, removing toxins and waste. It produces bile to help digest fats. It stores vitamins and minerals. It regulates blood sugar. It manufactures proteins that help your blood clot when you're injured. It breaks down old red blood cells and recycles their components. It metabolizes medications, alcohol, and chemicals. And it does all of this without complaint, without rest, without ever asking for recognition. If you removed a portion of your liver, it would grow back. It's one of the only organs in your body capable of regeneration. Like something out of myth, like a phoenix made of cells. Your liver is a factory, a filter, a guardian, and a healer. And right now, as you lie still, it's working quietly in the dark. Your bones are constantly rebuilding themselves. You might think of your skeleton as solid, fixed, unchanging. But your bones are alive. They're made of living tissue that's constantly being broken down and rebuilt. Cells called osteoclasts dissolve old bone. Cells called osteoblasts create new bone in its place. This process, called remodeling, happens throughout your entire life. Your skeleton is completely renewed roughly every 10 years. When you're young, bone formation happens faster, helping you grow. As you age, the process slows, but it never stops. Your bones adapt to stress. If you exercise, they grow denser. If you rest for long periods, they lighten. They respond to the forces you place on them, reshaping themselves to support you better. Right now, deep inside your bones, in the soft marrow at their core, new blood cells are being born. Red cells to carry oxygen, white cells to fight infection, platelets to seal wounds. Your bones are not just structure, they are creators, quiet architects of life. Your kidneys filter about 200 quarts of blood every single day. Your kidneys are two small, bean-shaped organs nestled near the middle of your back. They're about the size of your fist, and yet, together, they filter roughly 200 quarts of blood every day. That's about 50 gallons. All of your blood passes through your kidneys multiple times each day, and with each pass, they remove waste, balance electrolytes, and regulate fluid levels. What's left over becomes urine, carrying away toxins your body no longer needs. But your kidneys do more than clean. They also help control blood pressure. They produce hormones that stimulate red blood cell production. They activate vitamin D so your body can absorb calcium. They are chemists, filters, and regulators all at once. And they do this work silently, tirelessly, without ever pausing. Even now, as your muscles relax and your mind begins to drift, your kidneys are sorting through your blood, keeping you balanced, keeping you safe. Your skin is the largest organ in your body, and it renews itself constantly. You wear your skin every day, but you rarely think of it as an organ. Yet it is, the largest one you have. In an average adult, skin covers about 20 square feet and weighs around 8 pounds. It's a barrier between you and the world. It keeps water in and harmful bacteria out. It regulates your temperature through sweat. It senses touch, pressure, heat, and pain, and it's constantly renewing itself. The outermost layer of your skin, the epidermis, is replaced roughly every 28 days. Dead skin cells flake off, often without you noticing, and new cells rise from below to take their place. You shed millions of skin cells every single day. In fact, much of the dust in your home is made of your own skin. It sounds strange, but it's beautiful in a way. Your body lets go of what it no longer needs and creates something fresh, over and over. You are always becoming new. Your tongue is covered in thousands of taste buds that regenerate every 2 weeks. The surface of your tongue is a landscape. Tiny bumps called papillae rise like hills, and nestled within them are your taste buds. You have around 10,000 of them when you're born, though that number decreases as you age. Each taste bud contains clusters of receptor cells that detect 5 basic tastes: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami. These cells send signals to your brain, helping you decide what's safe to eat, what's nourishing, what's spoiled. But taste buds don't last forever. Each one lives for about 10 to 14 days before it's replaced by a new one. Your sense of taste is constantly refreshing itself, constantly adapting. If you burn your tongue on hot coffee, those damaged cells will be replaced within 2 weeks. Your body knows how to heal, how to rebuild, how to bring back the flavors of the world. Even something as simple as tasting your food is a quiet miracle of renewal. Your heart pumps about 2,000 gallons of blood through your body every day. Imagine 2,000-gallon jugs lined up in a row. That's how much blood your heart moves through your circulatory system every single day. With every beat, it pushes oxygen-rich blood out through your arteries, into smaller arterioles, and finally into capillaries so thin that red blood cells must pass through them single file. There, oxygen is delivered to your tissues, carbon dioxide is picked up, and the blood returns through your veins back to your heart, where it's sent to your lungs to be refreshed and sent out again. This cycle happens over and over, roughly 70 times per minute, 100,000 times per day, 35 million times per year. Your heart is a pump, yes, but it's also a messenger. It carries life to every part of you. It connects your lungs to your brain, your stomach to your toes, your fingertips to your core. It is the river that runs through you, and it never stops flowing. Your immune system creates millions of new cells every single day to protect you. Right now, even as you rest, your immune system is on patrol. White blood cells drift through your bloodstream and tissues, searching for invaders, bacteria, viruses, fungi, anything that doesn't belong. Some of these cells, like neutrophils, are born in your bone marrow by the millions every day. They live only a few hours or days, but in that time, they hunt, attack, and destroy threats. Other cells, like lymphocytes, can live for years, remembering past infections and preparing to respond faster the next time. Your body keeps a library of every illness you've ever fought, every cold, every flu, every scrape that healed without infection. It remembers, and it uses that memory to protect you. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to will it into action. Your immune system simply works, quietly, constantly, a guardian you've never met, but who's been with you since birth. Your body produces about 25 million new cells every single second. 25 million every second. Not every minute, not every hour, every single second. Right now, as you read these words, as your breathing slows and your eyelids grow heavy, your body is creating new cells at a pace almost impossible to comprehend. Some are replacing skin cells that have worn away. Others are replenishing the lining of your intestines. Red blood cells are being born in your bone marrow. Cells in your liver are dividing to repair damage. Your body is a factory that never closes, a construction site that never sleeps. And the most remarkable thing is that you feel none of it. You don't sense the mitosis happening in your tissues. You don't hear the quiet hum of division and growth, but it's there, constant, relentless, your body building itself, cell by cell, into tomorrow's version of you. Your brain uses about 20% of your body's total energy, even though it's only 2% of your weight. Your brain weighs roughly 3 pounds. That's about 2% of your total body weight. And yet, it consumes about 20% of all the oxygen and glucose your body takes in, even when you're resting, even when you think you're doing nothing. Your brain is extraordinarily expensive to run. It needs fuel to maintain the electrical signals racing between neurons, to store and retrieve memories, to regulate your heartbeat, your breathing, your digestion, to process the sensations coming in from your eyes, ears, and skin, to generate thoughts, emotions, and dreams. It is the most complex structure we know of in the entire universe, and it's sitting quietly inside your skull right now, keeping you alive, keeping you conscious, keeping you you. All while using less power than a refrigerator light bulb. Efficient, mysterious, miraculous. Your gut contains about 100 trillion microorganisms that help you digest food and stay healthy. You are not alone in your body. Inside your intestines lives an entire ecosystem, trillions of bacteria, fungi, and other microorganisms that together weigh about as much as your brain. This is your microbiome, and it's not an invader, it's a partner. These microbes help you break down food that your body can't digest on its own. They produce vitamins like B12 and K. They train your immune system. They even communicate with your brain through chemical signals, influencing your mood, your cravings, and your sense of well-being. Some researchers believe that the health of your gut microbiome affects everything from your mental health to your weight to your risk of disease. You are, in a very real sense, a walking ecosystem, a collaboration between human cells and microbial life. And right now, deep in your intestines, trillions of tiny organisms are working quietly to keep you nourished, balanced, and alive. Your body temperature is regulated within a fraction of a degree. Even while you sleep, your body maintains a core temperature of about 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, or 37 degrees Celsius. And it does this with astonishing precision. If you get too hot, your body releases sweat to cool you down through evaporation. Blood vessels near your skin dilate, releasing heat into the air. If you get too cold, you shiver. Tiny muscle contractions generate warmth. Blood vessels constrict, keeping heat close to your core. All of this happens automatically. Your hypothalamus, a small region deep in your brain, acts like a thermostat, constantly monitoring and adjusting. Even now, as you lie still under blankets or in open air, your body is making micro-adjustments to keep you comfortable. It doesn't ask permission. It doesn't wait for instructions. It simply knows, and it keeps you balanced, warm enough to function, cool enough to rest. A miracle of regulation happening in silence. Your ears never stop working, even when you're asleep. Right now, sound waves are entering your ears. They travel down your ear canals and strike your eardrums, causing them to vibrate. These vibrations pass through 3 tiny bones, the smallest in your body, and into a spiral structure called the cochlea. Inside the cochlea, thousands of hair-like cells bend in response to the vibrations, converting them into electrical signals that your brain interprets as sound. This process never stops. Even when you're asleep, your ears are listening. Your brain filters out most of what it hears, deciding what's important and what can be ignored. A gentle breeze is dismissed. A door closing far away is noted but not alarming. But a sudden loud noise, a shout, a crash, will wake you instantly. Your ears are guardians, quiet sentinels that never leave their post. They keep you aware of the world around you, even in the deepest rest. And they do it without ever asking for thanks. Your hair grows about half an inch every month, even while you sleep. Hair seems so simple, so still, but it's alive in a way. Each strand grows from a tiny follicle beneath your skin, fed by blood vessels that deliver nutrients and oxygen. On average, the hair on your head grows about half an inch per month. That's roughly 6 inches a year. You have around 100,000 hair follicles on your scalp, though that number varies. Each one operates on its own cycle. Some are growing, some are resting. Some are shedding. You lose about 50 to 100 hairs every day, but you don't notice because new ones are always growing in to replace them. Your body doesn't see hair as decoration. It sees it as protection, insulation, a way to regulate temperature and shield your skin from the sun. And so it keeps growing it, day after day, night after night. Even now, as you drift towards sleep, your hair is quietly lengthening, cell by cell, strand by strand. Your pancreas produces insulin to regulate your blood sugar every single day. Tucked behind your stomach, your pancreas is working. It's a small organ, about 6 inches long, but it has a critical job. It produces enzymes that help you digest food, and it creates hormones that regulate your blood sugar. The most important of these hormones is insulin. Every time you eat, sugar enters your bloodstream. If it stays too high, it can damage your organs. If it drops too low, you lose energy and focus. Your pancreas monitors your blood sugar constantly and releases insulin to keep it balanced. Insulin acts like a key, unlocking your cells so they can absorb glucose and use it for energy. This happens automatically. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to manage it consciously. Your pancreas simply does it, adjusting, balancing, keeping you stable. A quiet miracle of chemistry happening deep inside, every single day, every single meal. We've been drifting through the hidden workings of your body, uncovering miracles you never see. And there's still so much more. If your mind is wandering, that's fine. If your thoughts are softening, that's beautiful. There's no pressure to remember every detail. Just let the wonder wash over you like a gentle tide. Let's continue. Your lungs contain about 300 million tiny air sacs called alveoli. When you breathe in, air travels down your windpipe through branching tubes called bronchi, and finally reaches the smallest structures in your lungs. These are alveoli, tiny, delicate air sacs that look like clusters of grapes. You have roughly 300 million of them. If you could unfold all of your alveoli and lay them flat, they would cover an area about the size of a tennis court. That's how much surface area your body dedicates to breathing. Each alveolus is wrapped in tiny blood vessels called capillaries. Oxygen from the air you inhale passes through the thin walls of the alveoli into your blood. Carbon dioxide, the waste product of your cells, passes in the opposite direction and is exhaled. This exchange happens with every breath, silently, efficiently. Millions of tiny transactions happening simultaneously. Your lungs are not just organs, they are interfaces, bridges between the air around you and the life inside you. And they work without pause, without complaint, keeping you alive breath by breath. Your DNA contains about 3 billion base pairs of genetic information. Inside the nucleus of nearly every cell in your body is a molecule so complex, so densely packed with information, that it's almost beyond comprehension. DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. It looks like a twisted ladder, a double helix, and it contains the instructions for building and maintaining you. Your DNA is made up of roughly 3 billion base pairs. If you could uncoil the DNA from just one cell and stretch it out, it would be about 6 feet long. Now imagine that in every cell, if you laid out all the DNA in your entire body end to end, it would stretch from the Earth to the Sun and back more than 600 times. And yet, it fits inside you, coiled, compact, efficient. Your DNA holds the code for your eye color, your height, your susceptibility to certain diseases, even aspects of your personality. It's a library written in 4 chemical letters. And every time a cell divides, that entire library is copied with astonishing accuracy. You are a walking archive, a living text written in molecules. Your eyes can distinguish about 10 million different colors. Look around you. Notice the colors, the soft tones of fabric, the warmth of light on a wall, the shifting shades of shadow. Your eyes are extraordinary instruments. At the back of each eye, in a thin layer of tissue called the retina, are cells that detect light. Some of these cells, called rods, help you see in dim conditions. Others, called cones, detect color. You have 3 types of cones, each sensitive to different wavelengths of light: red, green, and blue. Your brain combines the signals from these cones to create every color you've ever seen. Researchers estimate that the human eye can distinguish about 10 million different colors. Some people, usually women, have a rare genetic variation that gives them a 4th type of cone. They can see even more, millions of shades the rest of us can't perceive. But even with just 3 types of cones, your vision is rich, layered, full of subtlety. Every sunset, every painting, every face you've ever loved. Your eyes translate light into meaning, into beauty, into memory. Your muscles make up about 40% of your total body weight. You might not think about your muscles often unless they're sore or tired, but they're there, everywhere. In an average adult, muscles make up roughly 40% of total body weight. You have more than 600 muscles in your body. Some are large, like the quadriceps in your thighs or the gluteus maximus in your buttocks. Others are tiny, like the stapedius in your ear, the smallest muscle in your body. Muscles allow you to move, to walk, run, lift, and dance. But they also do much more. Your heart is a muscle, pumping without rest. Muscles in your digestive tract push food through your intestines. Muscles in your eyes allow you to focus and track movement. Even the act of smiling involves dozens of facial muscles. And muscles don't just move you, they generate heat. When you're cold, your muscles shiver to warm you up. They store energy. They protect your bones. They shape your body. and they adapt. If you use them, they grow stronger. If you rest them, they repair. They are responsive, resilient, and endlessly hardworking. Your blood travels nearly 12,000 miles through your body every single day. If you could trace the path of a single drop of blood through your circulatory system, you'd follow a journey almost impossible to imagine. Blood leaves your heart through the aorta, the largest artery in your body. It travels through smaller and smaller vessels, delivering oxygen and nutrients to tissues along the way. Eventually, it reaches the capillaries, vessels so narrow that red blood cells must squeeze through one at a time. There, oxygen is released, carbon dioxide is picked up, and the blood begins its return journey, flowing through veins back to the heart, then to the lungs to be refreshed and out again. This entire circuit happens over and over, every minute of every day. On average, your blood travels about 12,000 miles through your circulatory system daily. That's roughly halfway around the Earth, and it does this inside you, quietly, tirelessly. A river that never stops flowing, carrying life to every corner of your body. Your sense of smell is directly linked to memory and emotion. Scent is powerful. A whiff of fresh bread might remind you of your grandmother's kitchen. The smell of rain on pavement might bring back a childhood summer. Perfume might recall someone you loved. This happens because your sense of smell is wired differently than your other senses. When you breathe in, molecules in the air bind to receptors in your nose. These receptors send signals directly to the olfactory bulb, a structure at the base of your brain. And the olfactory bulb is closely connected to the amygdala and hippocampus, areas involved in emotion and memory. That's why smells can trigger vivid memories so suddenly, so completely. You have about 400 types of scent receptors, and together they allow you to detect over 1 trillion different smells. Some people lose their sense of smell and describe it as losing color from the world. Smell connects you to your past, to places, to people. It's invisible, intangible, and yet deeply personal, a quiet miracle of chemistry and memory. Your body produces about 1 liter of saliva every single day. Saliva seems so simple, just wetness in your mouth, but it's far more than that. Every day, your salivary glands produce about 1 liter of saliva. That's roughly a quart. It's made up of water, enzymes, mucus, and antibacterial compounds. Saliva begins the process of digestion before food even reaches your stomach. Enzymes in your saliva start breaking down starches the moment you chew. Saliva also lubricates your food, making it easier to swallow. It protects your teeth by washing away food particles and neutralizing acids that cause decay. It keeps your mouth moist so you can speak clearly. It even contains compounds that help wounds in your mouth heal faster than wounds on your skin. And you produce it constantly. Even now, as you rest, saliva is pooling gently in your mouth, keeping it clean, keeping it ready. Without it, eating would be painful, speaking would be difficult. Your mouth would become dry, cracked, and vulnerable. Saliva is a gift, a quiet stream that flows through you, unnoticed, essential. Your nervous system sends signals at speeds up to 268 miles per hour. Right now, information is racing through your body faster than a speeding car. Your nervous system is a vast network of cells called neurons, and they communicate using electrical impulses. When you touch something hot, sensors in your skin send a signal up your arm, through your spinal cord, and into your brain. Your brain processes the information and sends a command back down: pull your hand away. All of this happens in a fraction of a second. Some nerve signals travel at speeds up to 268 miles per hour. Others move more slowly, carrying different kinds of information. Pain signals, for instance, travel slower than touch signals. That's why you sometimes feel pressure before you feel pain. Your nervous system is a communication network more complex than the internet. Billions of neurons connected by trillions of synapses. all working together to help you sense, think, move, and feel. And most of it happens without your awareness. Signals flying through you like lightning in a storm you can't see. Your body contains enough carbon to make 900 pencils. You are made of elements. The same elements that exist in stars, in soil, in the air. Carbon is one of the most abundant. It's the backbone of every organic molecule in your body. Proteins, fats, carbohydrates, DNA, all of them are built on chains of carbon atoms. If you could extract all the carbon from your body, you'd have enough to make about 900 pencils, or 9,000 pencil leads, depending on how you measure. It's a strange thought, isn't it? That the same element used to write and draw is also the foundation of your cells, your tissues, your very existence. You are stardust shaped into form. Elements forged in the hearts of ancient stars, scattered across space, gathered on Earth, and assembled into you. You carry the universe inside you, not metaphorically, literally. Every atom in your body has a history billions of years old. You are young, but the matter that makes you is ancient. Your fingernails grow about 3.5 millimeters per month. Your fingernails might seem like small, unimportant things, but they're constantly growing. On average, they lengthen by about 3.5 millimeters each month. That's roughly the thickness of 2 dimes. Your toenails grow slower, about half that rate. Nails are made of a protein called keratin, the same substance that makes up your hair and the outer layer of your skin. They grow from a region called the nail matrix, hidden beneath the skin at the base of each nail. New cells are produced there, pushing the older cells forward. As those cells move, they harden and flatten, forming the nail you see. Nails protect the sensitive tips of your fingers and toes. They help you pick up small objects, scratch an itch, peel an orange, and they grow continuously, month after month, year after year. If you never cut them, they would keep growing, curling, spiraling. Your body doesn't know when to stop. It just keeps creating. A small, stubborn miracle of growth. Your spleen filters old red blood cells and helps fight infection. On the left side of your abdomen, tucked beneath your ribs, sits an organ most people forget they have, your spleen. It's about the size of your fist, soft and spongy, dark purple in color, and it's working quietly right now. Your spleen filters your blood, removing old or damaged red blood cells and recycling their components. It stores platelets and white blood cells, releasing them when needed. It helps fight infections by producing antibodies and trapping bacteria. If you lose your spleen, you can survive, but you become more vulnerable to certain infections. Your body compensates, but the spleen's absence is felt. It's not glamorous. It doesn't get the attention the heart or brain receives, but it's essential. A silent guardian filtering, storing, protecting. Right now, blood is flowing through your spleen, being cleaned, being prepared to continue its journey, and you feel none of it. Just another quiet miracle happening in the dark. Your eyes blink in about 1/10 of a second. A blink happens so fast you barely register it. About 1/10 of a second. In that brief moment, your eyelids sweep downward and upward again, spreading a thin layer of tears across your eyes. This keeps them moist, clears away dust, and protects them from drying out. You blink roughly 15 to 20 times per minute when you're awake. Less when you're focused on something, more when you're tired or uncomfortable. Blinking is so automatic that you can go hours without noticing you're doing it. But if you couldn't blink, your vision would blur within minutes. Your eyes would sting. They'd become vulnerable to infection. Your body knows this, so it blinks for you, over and over, thousands of times a day. A reflex so small, so quick, that it feels like nothing. But it's everything. A tiny act of maintenance repeated endlessly to keep the world in focus. Your stomach acid is strong enough to dissolve metal. The acid in your stomach, hydrochloric acid, has a pH of about 1.5 to 3.5. That makes it incredibly strong. Strong enough to break down the proteins in your food. Strong enough to kill most bacteria and viruses that enter your body through your mouth. Strong enough, in fact, to dissolve certain metals if they were left there long enough. And yet, your stomach doesn't digest itself. Why? Because it's protected by a thick layer of mucus that coats the stomach lining. This mucus is constantly being produced and replaced. If it weren't there, the acid would eat through the stomach wall within hours. Your stomach is both weapon and fortress. It destroys what needs to be destroyed and shields itself from its own power. It's a delicate balance, a dangerous alchemy. And it's happening inside you right now, breaking down your last meal, turning food into fuel, protecting you from harm, all without you having to think about it. Your body has about 60,000 miles of blood vessels. If you could lay out all the arteries, veins, and capillaries in your body end to end, they would stretch for about 60,000 miles. That's enough to circle the Earth more than twice. Your circulatory system is vast. It reaches every part of you, from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. The largest vessels, your arteries, carry oxygen-rich blood away from your heart. They branch into smaller arterioles, then into capillaries so tiny that red blood cells pass through single file. There, oxygen and nutrients are exchanged with your tissues. The blood then returns through venules and veins back to your heart. This network is dense, intricate, and essential. Without it, your cells would starve, your organs would fail. But with it, life flows continuously. Oxygen delivered, waste removed. A quiet current running through you, connecting every part of your body into one living whole. Midpoint hook 50% mark. Let's pause here for a moment. Take a breath. We're halfway through this journey, and there's no rush. If your mind is drifting, if your thoughts are growing softer, that's exactly right. If sleep finds you here, that's perfect. You don't need to hold on to every word. Just let them wash over you like a gentle wave. There are still more miracles to explore, but there's no pressure. Let your body relax deeper. Let your breathing slow. And when you're ready, we'll continue drifting together. Your brain contains about 86 billion neurons, each connected to thousands of others. Inside your skull, packed into a space about the size of two clenched fists, are roughly 86 billion neurons. Each one is a tiny cell with branches reaching out like the limbs of a tree. These branches, called dendrites and axons, connect to other neurons, forming synapses. And each neuron can connect to thousands of others. Some estimates suggest there are over 100 trillion synapses in your brain. That's more connections than there are stars in the Milky Way galaxy. These connections form networks, patterns, pathways that light up when you think, remember, feel, or dream. Every experience you've ever had has shaped these connections. Every conversation, every lesson, every moment of joy or sorrow. Your brain is not static. It's constantly rewiring itself based on what you do, what you learn, what you focus on. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity. Your brain is a living map of your life. And right now, even as you rest, it's pruning old connections and strengthening new ones, quietly reshaping itself, preparing for tomorrow. Your red blood cells live for about 120 days before being recycled. Right now, red blood cells are flowing through your veins and arteries, carrying oxygen to every tissue in your body. Each red blood cell is shaped like a disc with a dimple on both sides, designed to maximize surface area for oxygen exchange. They're filled with a protein called hemoglobin, which binds to oxygen in your lungs and releases it where it's needed. A single drop of blood contains about 5 million red blood cells, and each one lives for roughly 120 days. After that, it becomes old, worn, less efficient. Your spleen and liver recognize these aging cells and remove them from circulation. The components are recycled. Iron is salvaged and reused. The rest is broken down and disposed of. And in the meantime, your bone marrow is producing new red blood cells by the millions, roughly 2 million every single second. Your body is a master of renewal. Nothing is wasted. Everything is reused, remade, reborn. A cycle of creation and recycling that never stops. Your sense of taste works together with your sense of smell to create flavor. When you eat something delicious, you might say it tastes good. But what you're actually experiencing is a combination of taste and smell. Your tongue detects 5 basic tastes: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami. That's it, just 5. Everything else, all the complexity, all the richness, comes from your sense of smell. As you chew, molecules from your food travel up through the back of your throat into your nasal cavity, where they're detected by scent receptors. Your brain combines these signals with the basic tastes from your tongue to create the full experience of flavor. That's why food tastes bland when you have a cold and your nose is blocked. Your tongue still works, but you've lost the depth, the nuance. Flavor is a collaboration, a partnership between senses. And it turns the simple act of eating into something far more rich and layered. A quiet miracle that happens with every bite, every sip, every meal you share. Your body makes about 2 million red blood cells every single second. 2 million every second. Not every minute, every single second. Right now, deep inside your bones, in the soft marrow at their core, stem cells are dividing and transforming into red blood cells. This process, called hematopoiesis, happens continuously. Your bone marrow produces about 200 billion red blood cells every day. That's roughly 2 million per second, and it needs to. Because red blood cells are constantly wearing out, being filtered from your blood and recycled. If production stopped, you'd run out of red blood cells within a few months. You'd become weak, tired, unable to deliver oxygen to your tissues. But production doesn't stop. It never stops. Even when you're sleeping, even when you're sick, your bone marrow keeps working, quietly, tirelessly, replacing what's lost, maintaining balance, keeping you alive. It's one of the most relentless processes in your body. A factory that never closes. A miracle measured not in days or hours, but in seconds. Your skin sheds about 30,000 to 40,000 dead skin cells every single minute. You are constantly letting go. Every minute of every day, your skin sheds between 30,000 and 40,000 dead cells. That's roughly 9 pounds of skin cells every year. These cells flake off so small, so light, that you never notice. They fall onto your clothes, your sheets, into the air. Much of household dust is actually dead skin. It sounds strange, but it's a sign of life. Your skin is renewing itself constantly, pushing fresh cells to the surface while shedding the old ones. This process protects you. It removes damaged cells, cells exposed to the sun, to chemicals, to wear, and it replaces them with new ones, ready to protect you again. You are always becoming new, layer by layer. Cell by cell, a quiet shedding and rebuilding that's been happening since the day you were born. Your body knows how to let go, how to release what no longer serves. And it does so without hesitation, without sentimentality, just gentle, constant renewal. Your immune system remembers every pathogen it has ever encountered. Your body keeps a record, a memory written not in words, but in cells. Every time your immune system encounters a virus or bacteria, certain white blood cells called memory B cells and memory T cells are created. These cells don't fight the infection directly. Instead, they remember it. They carry information about the pathogen, its shape, its markers, its weaknesses, and they remain in your body for years, sometimes for life. If that same pathogen ever returns, These memory cells recognize it immediately and launch a faster, stronger response. That's why you usually only get chickenpox once. That's how vaccines work. They train your immune system by exposing it to a harmless version of a pathogen, so your body learns to recognize and defeat the real thing. Your immune system is a library, a catalog of every battle it's ever fought, and it uses that knowledge to protect you, silently, constantly, without you ever knowing the threats it's turning away before they can take hold. Your body temperature drops slightly when you sleep. As you drift toward sleep, your body temperature begins to fall. Not dramatically, just by about 1 or 2 degrees Fahrenheit. This drop is part of your body's natural circadian rhythm. It signals to your brain that it's time to rest. Your core temperature reaches its lowest point in the early morning hours, usually a few hours before you wake. Then it begins to rise again, preparing you for the day. This subtle shift in temperature isn't random. It's connected to the release of melatonin, the hormone that makes you feel sleepy. A cooler body temperature makes it easier to fall asleep and stay asleep. That's why you sleep better in a cool room than in a warm one. Your body knows this. It's been regulating your temperature for sleep since you were born, lowering it at night, raising it in the morning. A gentle rhythm. A biological tide that ebbs and flows without you having to think about it. Even now, as you rest, your body is cooling slightly, preparing you for deeper sleep. Your bones are 4 times stronger than concrete when it comes to compression. Bone seems fragile when it breaks, but in truth, it's one of the strongest materials in nature. Pound for pound, bone is about 4 times stronger than concrete when it comes to withstanding compression. It can support tremendous weight without crumbling. And unlike concrete, bone is alive. It's flexible. It can bend slightly under pressure, absorbing impact without shattering. The secret lies in its structure. Bone is made of a mineral called hydroxyapatite, which provides hardness, and collagen fibers, which provide flexibility. Together, they create a composite material that's both strong and resilient. Your bones support your entire body weight every time you stand. They protect your brain, your heart, your lungs. They anchor your muscles and allow you to move. And they do all of this while remaining light enough that you can walk, run, and jump. Engineering marvels built not by design, but by evolution, by millions of years of adaptation. And they're inside you right now, holding you together, keeping you upright, even as you lie still. Your heart began beating about 3 weeks after you were conceived. Before you had eyes, before you had limbs, before you had a brain capable of thought, your heart was beating. It started roughly 3 weeks after conception, when you were barely visible to the naked eye. A tiny cluster of cells began to pulse, to contract and release, and it has never stopped since. Not once. Not for a single moment. Your heart has been with you longer than any other organ. It's been working longer than you've been aware of yourself. By the time you were born, it had already beaten millions of times, and it will continue until the very end, somewhere between 2.5 and 3 billion beats in a lifetime. Each one, a small miracle. Each one, a quiet promise that life continues. Your heart doesn't know doubt. It doesn't question whether it should keep going. It simply beats, faithful, relentless. A rhythm that began before you knew you existed. Your body produces about 1.5 liters of mucus every single day. Mucus doesn't get much appreciation. It's something people usually notice only when they're sick. But your body produces roughly 1.5 liters of it every day, even when you're perfectly healthy. Mucus lines your respiratory tract, your digestive system, and other internal surfaces. It acts as a protective barrier, trapping dust, bacteria, viruses, and other particles before they can reach deeper into your body. In your nose and throat, tiny hair-like structures called cilia constantly move the mucus along, sweeping it toward your throat where you swallow it. Your stomach acid then destroys any harmful microbes trapped in the mucus. You don't notice this happening. You don't feel the mucus moving, but it's there, constantly flowing, constantly protecting. When you do get sick, your body produces even more mucus to flush out the infection faster. It's not glamorous, but it's essential. A quiet, sticky shield between you and the world. Your pupils dilate and contract constantly to control how much light enters your eyes. Look at your eyes in a mirror. Notice the black circle in the center. That's your pupil. It's not actually a structure. It's an opening. Behind it lies the lens of your eye, and surrounding it is the colored iris, made of muscle fibers that can contract and relax. These muscles control the size of your pupil, adjusting how much light enters your eye. In bright light, your pupils shrink to tiny pinpoints, protecting the sensitive retina at the back of your eye. In dim light, they widen, letting in as much light as possible so you can see. This happens automatically, constantly, in response to changing light levels. Your pupils also dilate when you're excited, frightened, or attracted to something. They respond not just to light, but to emotion. Right now, even in the stillness of this moment, your pupils are adjusting, measuring the light around you, letting in just enough, a tiny, delicate balancing act happening in real time. Your adrenal glands release hormones that help you respond to stress. Sitting on top of each of your kidneys, like small caps, are your adrenal glands. They're about the size of a walnut, and they produce some of the most powerful hormones in your body. When you're faced with danger, excitement, or stress, your adrenal glands release adrenaline, also called epinephrine. Within seconds, adrenaline floods your bloodstream. Your heart rate increases. Your airways open wider. Blood flow shifts to your muscles. Your pupils dilate. Your body is preparing to fight or flee. This response has kept humans alive for thousands of years. But your adrenal glands do more than just react to emergencies. They also produce cortisol, a hormone that helps regulate metabolism, blood sugar, and inflammation. They produce aldosterone, which helps control blood pressure. And they produce small amounts of sex hormones. These tiny glands are working constantly, quietly, helping your body respond to the world, to stress, to change, to life. Your body's cells communicate with each other using chemical signals. Your body is not a collection of separate parts. It's a society, trillions of cells working together, communicating constantly. And they do this through chemical signals. Cells release molecules, hormones, neurotransmitters, proteins that travel through your bloodstream or across tiny gaps between cells. These molecules bind to receptors on other cells, delivering messages: grow, divide, stop, move, fight infection, heal a wound, release energy, store fat. Every function in your body depends on this communication. Your pancreas talks to your liver. Your brain talks to your muscles. Your immune cells talk to each other, coordinating attacks on invaders. It's a language written in chemistry, invisible, silent. And yet, it's the foundation of everything you are. Right now, billions of these messages are being sent and received. Signals flying through your tissues like whispers in a crowded room. And somehow, through all that complexity, your body maintains balance, harmony, life. Your body can heal small cuts and wounds without leaving a scar. When you cut yourself, something extraordinary begins. Almost immediately, platelets in your blood rush to the site and begin to clump together, forming a clot. This stops the bleeding. Then, white blood cells arrive to fight off any bacteria that might have entered the wound. Fibroblasts, specialized cells, start producing collagen, a protein that acts like scaffolding. New skin cells begin to grow, filling in the gap. Blood vessels form to nourish the healing tissue. Over days or weeks, the wound closes. And if the cut is small enough, if the damage doesn't go too deep, your body heals it perfectly. no scar, no trace that anything ever happened. Your skin regenerates so completely that it's as if you were never injured. Not every wound heals this way. Deeper cuts leave scars, marks where the healing happened quickly but imperfectly. But small wounds, your body erases them, quietly, completely. A miracle of repair you barely notice. We've wandered far through the hidden workings of your body. If you're still awake, that's wonderful. If you're already dreaming, that's beautiful too. There's just a bit more to explore, but there's no need to hold on tightly. Let the words drift over you like clouds passing overhead. Let your body sink deeper into rest. And we'll finish this journey together, gently, softly, with no rush at all. Your brain consumes about 20% of your body's oxygen, even though it only weighs about 3 pounds. With every breath you take, oxygen enters your lungs and diffuses into your bloodstream. And about 1/5 of all that oxygen goes directly to your brain. Your brain weighs roughly 3 pounds, just 2% of your body weight. But it demands 20% of the oxygen you breathe. Why? Because thinking is expensive. Every thought, every memory, every sensation requires energy. Neurons need fuel to fire, to communicate, to maintain the electrical gradients that allow them to function. Without a constant supply of oxygen, brain cells begin to die within minutes. Your brain cannot store energy the way your muscles can. It depends entirely on a steady flow of oxygenated blood. Right now, even as you rest, even as your thoughts slow and soften, your brain is consuming oxygen, processing, regulating, dreaming, perhaps. It never truly stops. And your body prioritizes it above almost everything else, because without your brain, nothing else works. It is the conductor of the symphony, the command center, the quiet engine of your existence. Your fingertips have more nerve endings than almost any other part of your body. Touch your fingertips together. Notice how sensitive they are, how much information they can gather. Your fingertips are among the most sensitive parts of your body. They contain thousands of nerve endings packed densely into a small area. These nerve endings detect pressure, texture, temperature, vibration, and pain. They send signals to your brain faster than you can consciously register. That's how you can type without looking, play an instrument, button a shirt, or feel the difference between silk and sandpaper. Your fingertips are tools of exploration, extensions of your mind reaching into the world. When you were a baby, you touched everything. You learned about the world through your hands, smooth and rough, hot and cold, soft and sharp. And even now, as an adult, your sense of touch remains deeply connected to how you understand and interact with your surroundings. Your fingertips are not just skin, they are interfaces, bridges between your inner world and the outer one. Your white blood cells can squeeze through the walls of blood vessels to fight infection. When bacteria or viruses invade your body, your immune system responds. White blood cells, the soldiers of your immune system, patrol your bloodstream constantly. But sometimes the infection is outside the blood vessels, in your tissues, in a wound, in your lungs. So what do white blood cells do? They squeeze through the walls of your capillaries. This process is called diapedesis. The cells flatten, push between the endothelial cells that line your blood vessels, and slip into the surrounding tissue. Once there, they hunt down and destroy invaders. They engulf bacteria. They release chemicals that kill viruses. They signal other immune cells to join the fight. It's an invasion in reverse. Your white blood cells leave the safety of your bloodstream and venture into hostile territory to protect you. And they do this constantly, wherever they're needed, without hesitation. Right now, even if you feel perfectly healthy, white blood cells are likely moving through your tissues, patrolling, searching, keeping you safe. Your body uses about 10% of its energy just to digest food. Eating feels passive. You chew, you swallow, and the food disappears. But digestion is hard work. Breaking down food, absorbing nutrients, and processing waste requires a significant amount of energy. In fact, your body uses about 10% of the calories you consume just to digest the food itself. This is called the thermic effect of food. Different nutrients require different amounts of energy to process. Protein is the most demanding. Your body uses up to 30% of the calories in protein just to digest it. Fats and carbohydrates require less, around 5 to 10%. This is why eating a large meal can make you feel warm and sleepy. Your body is redirecting energy and blood flow to your digestive system. Your stomach churns. Enzymes break down proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Your intestines absorb nutrients through millions of tiny finger-like projections called villi. And all of this happens in the background while you go about your day. Digestion is invisible labor, a quiet transformation of the external world into energy, into you. Your vocal cords vibrate hundreds of times per second when you speak. Every word you speak begins with breath. Air from your lungs passes upward through your trachea and into your larynx, your voice box. Stretched across the larynx are two small folds of tissue called vocal cords. When you speak, muscles pull these cords together, narrowing the space between them. Air rushes through, causing the cords to vibrate. These vibrations create sound waves. The pitch of your voice depends on how fast your vocal cords vibrate. Higher pitches require faster vibrations, sometimes 200 or more times per second. Lower pitches vibrate slower, around 100 times per second. But the sound doesn't stop there. It travels up into your throat, mouth, and nasal cavity, where it's shaped by your tongue, lips, and teeth into words. Your voice is unique. No one else sounds exactly like you. The size of your vocal cords, the shape of your throat, the way you form words, all of it combines to create a sound that is entirely yours. And it happens so effortlessly that you rarely think about it. But every time you speak, you're playing an instrument, a living, breathing instrument made of flesh and air. Your kidneys filter your blood about 40 times every single day. Your kidneys are small, bean-shaped organs about the size of your fist, but they are incredibly hard-working. Every day, they filter roughly 50 gallons of blood. That means all the blood in your body passes through your kidneys about 40 times in a single day. With each pass, your kidneys remove waste products, excess water, and toxins. They regulate the balance of electrolytes like sodium, potassium, and calcium. They help control your blood pressure. They activate vitamin D, which is essential for bone health, and they produce a hormone called erythropoietin, which signals your bone marrow to make more red blood cells. All of this happens quietly, continuously, without you ever feeling it. If your kidneys stop working, waste builds up in your blood. You become sick. Your body loses balance. But as long as they function, they keep you clean, balanced, and alive. Two small organs doing the work of a sophisticated filtration system day after day, without complaint. Your eyelashes have a lifespan of about 150 days before they fall out and regrow. Your eyelashes seem permanent, but they're not. Each lash has a life cycle. It grows for about 30 to 45 days, reaching its full length. Then it enters a resting phase for about 100 days. Finally, it falls out, and a new lash begins to grow in its place. The entire cycle takes about 150 days, roughly 5 months. You have about 90 to 150 lashes on your upper eyelid and 70 to 80 on your lower eyelid. They grow at a rate of about 0.12 to 0.14 millimeters per day. Eyelashes serve a purpose. They protect your eyes from dust, debris, and bright light. They're sensitive to touch, so when something brushes against them, you blink reflexively. You lose a few eyelashes every day, but you rarely notice because new ones are always growing in. Your body doesn't waste effort. It maintains what's necessary, replaces what's lost, and keeps you protected. Even something as small as an eyelash is part of the quiet, constant renewal happening all over your body. Your body has an internal clock that regulates sleep, hunger, and hormone release. Deep inside your brain, in a tiny region called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, lies your body's master clock. It's no larger than a grain of rice, but it controls your circadian rhythm, the roughly 24-hour cycle that regulates when you feel sleepy, when you feel hungry, when certain hormones are released. This clock is influenced by light. When sunlight enters your eyes, it sends signals to the suprachiasmatic nucleus, helping your body know it's daytime. As evening comes and light fades, your brain begins to produce melatonin, a hormone that makes you feel drowsy. Your body temperature drops, your digestion slows. Everything prepares for sleep. In the morning, the cycle reverses. Melatonin production stops. Cortisol rises, giving you energy to start the day. This rhythm exists even without external cues. Studies of people living in constant darkness show that the body still follows a cycle close to 24 hours. Your internal clock is ancient, primal, a rhythm written into your biology long before electric lights or alarm clocks. And it's still guiding you now, gently nudging you toward rest. Your stomach can stretch to hold about a liter of food. When your stomach is empty, it's about the size of your fist, but it's incredibly elastic. After a meal, it can expand to hold roughly 1 liter of food and liquid, sometimes more. The walls of your stomach are made of smooth muscle that can stretch and contract. As food enters, the muscles relax to accommodate it. Then they begin to churn, mixing the food with gastric juices, breaking it down into a thick liquid called chyme. This process can take anywhere from 2 to 6 hours, depending on what you've eaten. Proteins and fats take longer to digest than carbohydrates. Eventually, the stomach releases the chyme in small amounts into your small intestine, where most nutrient absorption happens. Your stomach is both container and processor. It holds what you eat, breaks it down, and passes it along. And it does this with remarkable flexibility, adapting to how much you consume, adjusting its size and activity based on your needs. A living, responsive vessel working in the dark. Your body produces vitamin D when your skin is exposed to sunlight. Sunlight is more than warmth and brightness. It's essential for your health. When ultraviolet B rays from the sun strike your skin, they trigger a chemical reaction. A compound in your skin called 7-dehydrocholesterol is converted into pre-vitamin D3, which then becomes vitamin D3. This vitamin is crucial. It helps your body absorb calcium, keeping your bones strong. It supports your immune system. It may even influence your mood. That's part of why people feel better on sunny days. Your body can store vitamin D in fat tissue and release it when needed. But if you don't get enough sunlight, especially in winter or if you live far from the equator, your levels can drop. That's why some people take vitamin D supplements. But ideally, your body prefers to make it naturally. A few minutes of sunlight on your skin can trigger the process. It's a partnership between you and the sun. A quiet collaboration that's been happening for as long as humans have walked the earth. Your appendix may help store good bacteria for your gut. For a long time, the appendix was considered useless, a vestigial organ left over from evolution with no real purpose. But recent research suggests it may actually have a role. Your appendix is a small, finger-shaped pouch attached to your large intestine. It's believed to act as a safe house for beneficial bacteria. When you get sick with a stomach infection and your gut microbiome is disrupted, the bacteria stored in your appendix can help repopulate your intestines once the infection clears. It's like a backup reservoir, a biological reset button. Not everyone needs their appendix. People who have it removed due to appendicitis live normal, healthy lives. But it's possible that the appendix provides a subtle advantage, a quiet support system for your gut health. Your body doesn't waste. Even the smallest, most overlooked parts may have a purpose. a quiet role in the larger ecosystem of your health. Your body can recognize and destroy cells that become cancerous. Every day, some of your cells make mistakes. During division, DNA can be copied incorrectly. Damage from toxins, radiation, or random errors can cause mutations. Some of these mutations can lead to cancer, but most of the time, they don't. Why? Because your immune system is constantly monitoring your cells. Natural killer cells, a type of white blood cell, patrol your body looking for cells that seem abnormal, cells that are damaged, cells that are dividing uncontrollably. When they find one, they destroy it before it can multiply. Your body also has internal checkpoints. If a cell detects that its DNA is damaged beyond repair, it can trigger apoptosis, programmed cell death. The cell essentially sacrifices itself to prevent harm. This process happens constantly, silently. Most cancers are stopped before they ever begin. Of course, sometimes cells slip through. Mutations accumulate. The immune system misses something. But far more often, your body catches the problem early and eliminates it. A quiet vigilance, a biological safeguard working in the background. Every moment of every day, your sense of balance comes from tiny crystals in your inner ear. Balance seems simple. You stand, you walk, you don't fall over. But maintaining balance is a complex process that involves your inner ear, your eyes, and sensors in your muscles and joints. Inside your inner ear, in a structure called the vestibular system, are tiny crystals made of calcium carbonate. These crystals, called otoliths, sit on top of a gel-like membrane. When you move your head, the crystals shift, bending tiny hair cells beneath them. These hair cells send signals to your brain about the position and movement of your head. Your brain combines this information with input from your eyes and body to keep you upright. Sometimes, these crystals can become dislodged and drift into the wrong part of your inner ear. This causes vertigo, a spinning sensation that can be disorienting and uncomfortable. But most of the time, the system works flawlessly. You tilt your head, you turn, you walk upstairs. And your inner ear tracks every movement, sending constant updates to your brain so you stay balanced, stable, grounded. Your body replaces the entire lining of your small intestine every few days. Your small intestine is where most of the nutrients from your food are absorbed. It's lined with millions of tiny projections called villi, which increase the surface area for absorption. These villi are covered in even smaller projections called microvilli. Together, they create a vast absorptive surface, roughly the size of a tennis court, packed into a space just a few feet long. But the lining of your small intestine takes a beating. It's constantly exposed to digestive enzymes, stomach acid, and whatever you've eaten. So your body replaces it, completely, every 3 to 5 days. Old cells are shed into the intestinal contents and pass out of your body. New cells grow from the base of the villi and migrate upward, taking their place. This rapid turnover keeps your intestines healthy, functional, and resilient. It's one of the fastest renewal processes in your body. A quiet revolution happening deep inside, unseen, unfelt, but absolutely essential. Your body doesn't wait for damage to accumulate. It replaces, it renews, it keeps moving forward. Your body produces tears in 3 different types, each with a different purpose. Tears are not all the same. Your body produces 3 distinct types, each serving a different function. Basal tears are always present. They keep your eyes moist, lubricated, and protected. You produce them constantly, usually without noticing. Reflex tears appear in response to irritation, dust, smoke, onions, bright light. When something irritates your eyes, your lacrimal glands release a flood of tears to wash it away. And then there are emotional tears, the ones that come when you're sad, overwhelmed, or even joyful. Interestingly, emotional tears have a different chemical composition than the others. They contain stress hormones and other substances that may help regulate your emotions. Some researchers believe crying may actually help your body release tension and restore emotional balance. Tears are more than just water and salt. They're communication, protection, release, and your body knows exactly which type to produce and when. A quiet, fluid response to the world around you and the feelings within you. Your body knows the difference between self and non-self at the cellular level. One of the most remarkable abilities of your immune system is its capacity to distinguish between what belongs to you and what doesn't. Every cell in your body carries markers on its surface, proteins that act like identification badges. Your immune system learns to recognize these markers as self. Anything without the proper markers is flagged as foreign. A bacterium, a virus, a transplanted organ. This recognition is essential. Without it, your immune system might attack your own tissues, causing autoimmune diseases. Sometimes, this system makes mistakes. Cells are misidentified. The body attacks itself. But most of the time, it works flawlessly. Your immune system patrols constantly, checking identities, sorting friend from foe. It's a biological security system more sophisticated than anything humans have designed. And it's working right now, even as you rest, quietly protecting you, recognizing you, preserving the boundary between you and everything else. Your body can sense the passage of time even without a clock. Have you ever woken up just before your alarm, or felt hungry around the same time each day? Your body has an innate sense of time. It's not as precise as a clock, but it's remarkably consistent. This sense comes from your circadian rhythm and other internal biological processes. Your brain tracks patterns, sleep and wake cycles, meal times, daily routines. Over time, your body anticipates these patterns and prepares for them. Your stomach begins producing digestive enzymes before you eat. Your body temperature starts to rise before you wake. This anticipation helps you function more efficiently. It's a form of internal preparation, a way of smoothing the transitions between different states. You don't consciously control this. It happens automatically, shaped by habit and biology. Your body is always learning, always adapting, always finding rhythms in the chaos of daily life. And it uses those rhythms to keep you balanced, ready, grounded in time. Your nose can detect over 1 trillion different scents. For years, scientists believed humans could distinguish about 10,000 different smells. But more recent research suggests the number is far higher. Over 1 trillion. Your nose contains roughly 400 types of olfactory receptors, and each one can detect different molecules. When you breathe in, odor molecules bind to these receptors, triggering signals that travel to your brain. Your brain interprets the combination of signals as a specific smell. Some smells are simple, others are complex, made up of dozens or hundreds of different molecules. And your brain can tease them apart, identifying subtle differences. The smell of rain on pavement, fresh bread, a loved one's skin, coffee brewing in the morning. Each scent carries information, memory, emotion. Your sense of smell is deeply tied to the parts of your brain that handle memory and emotion. That's why a scent can transport you instantly to a moment years ago. A place, a person, a feeling. Smell is invisible, but it shapes how you experience the world. Your hair and nails are made of the same protein, keratin. Hair and nails seem very different. One is soft and flexible, the other is hard and protective. But they're made of the same substance, keratin. This protein is incredibly strong and durable. It forms long, twisted chains that bind together to create tough structures. The keratin in your nails is more tightly packed and harder than the keratin in your hair, which is why nails are rigid. But the basic building block is the same. Keratin also makes up the outer layer of your skin, providing a waterproof barrier. It's found in the claws, hooves, and horns of animals, in feathers and scales, It's one of nature's most versatile materials, and your body produces it constantly, growing hair, growing nails, replacing skin cells. It doesn't stop. It doesn't tire. It simply builds, quietly and persistently, using the same ancient protein that's protected living things for millions of years. Your body heals faster when you sleep. Sleep is not just rest. It's when your body does its deepest work. While you sleep, your body shifts into repair mode. Growth hormone is released, stimulating tissue repair and muscle growth. Your immune system ramps up production of infection-fighting cells. Blood flow to your muscles increases, delivering oxygen and nutrients needed for healing. Your brain clears out waste products that accumulated during the day. Even your skin regenerates faster at night. Wounds heal more quickly. Inflammation decreases. Sleep deprivation, on the other hand, slows healing, weakens your immune system, and leaves you more vulnerable to illness. Your body needs sleep not just to feel rested, but to rebuild, to recover, to prepare for the next day. Right now, if you're drifting towards sleep, your body is already beginning this process. Shifting gears, turning inward, focusing on repair, renewal, and restoration. Sleep is not wasted time. It's medicine. It's maintenance. It's one of the most important things you can do for your health. Your heart has its own electrical system and can beat outside your body. Your heart doesn't need your brain to tell it to beat. It has its own electrical system, a group of specialized cells called the sinoatrial node, often called the heart's natural pacemaker. These cells generate electrical impulses that spread through the heart muscle, causing it to contract in a coordinated rhythm. This system is so independent that if a heart is removed from the body and placed in a solution with the right nutrients and oxygen, it will continue to beat on its own, for a while, at least. Your brain and nervous system can influence your heart rate, speeding it up or slowing it down based on your needs. But the basic rhythm comes from within the heart itself. It's self-sustaining, autonomous, a living pump with its own intelligence, its own rhythm, its own will to continue. And it's been beating inside you, independent and tireless, since before you were born. And so we come to the end of our journey. 100 hidden miracles, 100 quiet, constant processes happening inside you right now, as you rest, as you breathe. As you drift towards sleep, or lie awake in the stillness, your body is a universe, vast, intricate, and endlessly astonishing. You are more than you've ever been taught to believe. More than skin and bones. You are a collaboration of trillions of cells, each one working with purpose. A symphony of systems, all in harmony. A living testament to billions of years of evolution, adaptation, and survival. And yet, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to think about your heartbeat. You don't have to remember to breathe. You don't have to command your cells to divide or your blood to flow. It all simply happens. A gift you were given at birth. A miracle that continues, quietly, faithfully, until your very last breath. So tonight, as you close your eyes, know that you are cared for, not by anyone outside you, but by the extraordinary intelligence of your own body. It knows what to do. It knows how to heal, how to rest, how to renew. And it will keep working. Even as you sleep, even as you dream, you are safe, you are whole, and you are, in every sense of the word, miraculous. Thank you for drifting with me tonight. Rest well, let go, and let your body do what it does best. Keep you alive, keep you balanced, keep you you. Breathe in slowly, breathe out slowly. Let your body sink deeper into the surface beneath you. There's nothing left to do, nothing left to think about, just the quiet hum of your heartbeat. The gentle rise and fall of your chest, the warmth of your skin, the softness of this moment. You are here, you are whole, and you are enough. Let sleep find you now, if it hasn't already. Drift gently into the dark, into rest, into peace. Good night.